see some of the fans have stayed in their seats here at Carter Finley as the rain has begun to pour, and Jen Hildreth is in charge of our sidelines.
Well, I just found Dave Doran and asked him what he liked, what he didn't like about that first half. He really liked the tempo that his team played with offensively early on, said they've got to get back into that kind of a rhythm on offense. He thought they were thrown off a little bit. What he talked to us about yesterday, guys, he thought they might see some new things defensively from Boston College, a team that had 2 weeks to prepare, and he did. Now they feel like they've seen some of the stuff, feel like they've adjusted, want to find that rhythm and tempo they had early on.
All right, thanks, Jen. The elements could become a factor here for both these schools, James, who like to run it as much as they do and also mix the pass in.
Well, rain, they come out of the halftime locker room pouring down.
Howell will just skip it along the ground. And the Wolfpack pick it up and bring it across the midfield line. Arias Moore, freshman. And that NC State had some big plays.
Well, you look at the two former Florida Gator quarterbacks. We asked Adazio about it this week. Does it mean anything extra to Brissett? He said, I don't know what it has to do with the price of rice. Well, the price has been right for Jacoby Brissett. The Wolfpack junior quarterback
Was on, as Dave Doran mentioned to Jen. He was fantastic early on, the 14 points, but then some stalls. And stalling in the red zone, each of these teams. So here's a chance for the Wolfpack to tie it up on their opening drive. Want to start as hot here in the second half as they did in the first.
Jacoby Brissett brings a man in motion and slips backing away from center. And I'm not sure that he didn't get caught up in the movement of the guard, Tony Adams. And we'll get to see here. Nope, it was the center. Quentin Schooley, who's played every snap a year ago offensively, who tripped up his quarterback.
Well, it has a lot to do with that pop, that initial pop of that defensive line, getting low and bringing the thump. That's a good job. That's a play that you won't see in the stat book as a tackle by a defensive lineman, but that's exactly what it was.
Loss of 6 on the play. And Brissett. And it's intercepted. Mahalik, the defensive end, comes away with the pick and then tackled just outside the Wolfpack 10-yard line. A lot of pressure up the middle from Stephen Daniels, and Mahalik comes away with the interception.
Don Brown has dialed up the blitz on second down a lot here today. Second down and long. The pressure is there from Daniels. And another pop on the quarterback. And just waiting on it is the big defensive end, Mahalik, the sack master. He's got over 3 sacks on the season. And now he's got his offense in business.
Well, and the ball game has now just been suspended after the Mahalik interception. So both these teams on the heels of Brissett's second interception of the year. He had thrown 14 touchdown passes and now has thrown interception number 2. And Boston College will have the football at the Wolfpack 10. But the game has been suspended. And you see, here's the NCAA and ACC weather rules. And the notice of the stadium at 10 miles, they did clear the stadium bowl during halftime. And now once it moves to within a certain area, their NCAA rules, and some schools take other precautionary measures in addition to what the NCAA suggests, James. So now North Carolina State, they've had a lightning strike within their area. May not have gone cloud to ground, but it was lightning nonetheless. And so they have elected to suspend the ball game here with 51 seconds in the third quarter. And what a play by BC on just the second snap of the third quarter by NC State on their opening possession.
Well, and it was Steve Adazio going into the halftime locker room. We got a chance to listen to him talk to Jen Hildreth, and he wanted to light a fire under his offense there, with the exception of opening up that first half. They stalled a little bit, lit a fire underneath his defense as well. And I've been impressed with settling down. This Don Brown defense is really, after the first 2 touchdowns, there wasn't a whole lot of defense being played there early in this game. But after that, the BC kind of buckled it down, and that shows right there with a big pick. And when we finally do resume play, it'll be Boston College football with a chance to make it a 2-touchdown lead.
Well, the interesting part, too, now is that Dave Doran's going to have to deal not only with the turnover, but with the fact that the ball game being suspended. We talk about, when you come back from something like this is not typical football by any stretch of the imagination. When you have this weather delay, now it's compounded from the Wolfpack perspective by the fact you had a turnover. And when you do come back to play, BC's going to have it maybe first and goal at your 10 or just outside of it.
Yeah, absolutely. So you got to be ready for it. They did stand there at the end of the half in the red zone, turned back a couple penalties, helped them out, and then the missed field goal. So nothing to show for it for Boston College. But, it's something that BC is dealing with, too. It's not like, and it's part of football. And it seems like this season it's been really part of college football. So you're going to deal with it regardless. And actually, it's, as a player sometimes it's even a little bit more fun, especially when you've got the upper hand to kind of pin it back and go. It's like, feel like a little kid again, playing in the mud and playing out in the elements. And just part of it.
Well, this ball game started off in a fast and furious fashion, didn't it? I mean, we had big plays everywhere. BC was throwing the rock a little bit.
Yeah, they came out, Wolfpack defense. All you hear all week long, gosh, this is the #5 running team in the nation. Their quarterback runs it better than any quarterback in the nation. They're going to pound it. We got to be ready. They're going to pound it. We got to be ready. Well, BC knew that, and they threw that, and they scored. But answering, and that play right there has really been the play of the game to me for NC State. It was a 3rd and 11. Brissett tucked it and went. That's the end result of that opening drive to answer. It was so big that they started fast. They didn't start fast defensively, as we're going to see right here. Tyler Murphy around the edge behind the big block by Bordner, 49-yard touchdown scamper, and the top rushing quarterback in the nation just keeps piling it on.
And to kick my days, the return here, 50 yards, set the Wolfpack up, didn't it?
It certainly did. They start in BC territory, and one thing that they got shored up was the middle of that defense. Nobody there underneath, and so it was just too easy in the opening moments of this football game for North Carolina State across the middle. And answering, though, the little big man, Sherman Alston, through the air, on the ground as well. Here's the end around for the 5'6" freshman from Harlem, New York. Good blocking down the field. Callanan right there, but we've also seen Jeffrey J., Dan Crimmins as well. Guys throwing the blocks down the field, and that's how these big plays happen. You got receivers blocking. Oh, speaking of receivers, there's not one. That's a defensive back showing you the defensive back hands. Could have been a pick 6 perhaps, all the way back down. There's the missed field goal by Sadie. And Nicholas Sadie had a chance to chip away, and after all the penalties, it looked like Alex Allen, this was going to float in there, but the wind got a hold of it, I think, and pushed it back out.
Well, Adazio knows his team missed a chance, and then here in the third, just 2 snaps. Second snap, look at Daniels pressured Brissett. He throws his second interception to Mahalik, who, for a big man, keeps his feet.
Yeah, it's been an exciting third quarter, hasn't it?
Yeah. 2 snaps. 2 snaps, and now suspended here at Carter Finley Stadium in Raleigh, with Boston College leading North Carolina State 21-14. Stay tuned now. We'll keep you posted from Raleigh on the resumption of this ball game. But right now, alternate programming. There's Murphy in the big package for Boston College.
And under center.
Hillman, the running back, he'll get the call. And a couple yards. To the 8 goes John Hillman. And we went 58 minutes on the delay before resuming here in Raleigh. Folks will be well rested, don't you?
I think so. Got to make sure you're loose, too. Don't want any injuries after coming out cold from the locker room. But it still seemed like they loosened up enough. Changing the play here is Murphy back to the pistol.
Yeah, Callanan, the lone receiver to the right side. And Murphy going to keep. Eludes one. Headed for the far side, and he'll be tackled. Big play by defensive end Mike Rose.
They want a horse collar flag. Thrown down by the back of his jersey. Wow, great job to defend this read option, and a good job to adjust the angle. And you know what? That's a good non-call, because this isn't dangerous. He just grabs the jersey and throws him down. Had he pulled him straight down, that's where the injuries come in with the knees. I like that no call. Excellent job, Mike Rose, to flatten out and go make the play.
So now, 3rd and goal at the 17. A loss of 9 on the play, almost 10. Murphy going to counter inside. This is Willis. He'll break free and get back to the 10. Miles Willis tackled by Jared Fernandez, that redshirt freshman at linebacker. So now here comes the first career field goal attempt. A freshman, Mike Knoll from Copley, Ohio, who was 9 of 11 as a senior. His longest was 45. Can you imagine? To try and make it a 10-point lead, it'll be a 28-yard field goal. Left-footed rookie. The kick is good. So Mike Knoll and Boston College get 3 points on the Mahalik interception. Took over an hour to answer the question, but BC's lead is 10. Just look how pretty it was yesterday here in Raleigh. Out in front of the Wendell Murphy Football Center here at Carter-Finley Stadium. Some of the tried and true have returned to their seats after a 58-minute delay. And Boston College goes 4 plays. Doesn't get any yardage, though, as the state defense hung tough, and then Knoll kicked a 28-yard field goal. 10-point lead for the Eagles as Howell kicks it to Days, juggles it briefly. Now at the 10, and Days to the 20-yard line. So the Wolfpack defense, after a 58-minute delay, James, has to bow up and make our Honda Generators power play.
Yeah, no problem. Great job by Mike Rose, the defensive end, to stay outside and throw down Tyler Murphy. Then almost everybody holding their breath here in the stadium. They finally drop Willis and hold BC to a field goal to make it just a 10-point lead instead of a 2-touchdown game.
Boy, look at the Wolfpack going 5 wide here to open the series. Pressure coming. Brissett flushed to his right and threw it just beyond the reach of Austin. The intended receiver. Strezak, the linebacker, was pressuring for Boston College.
Well, when NC State has gone to that empty look, they've chosen to blitz and bring the heat. It was a blitz right before the big rain delay. Pressure there right in the face of Jacoby Brissett. That one was by Stephen Daniels to force the interception to Mahalik. And here he's forced to roll again. If they can buy a little bit of time and figure out a way to pick up that blitz with the empty set and get to somebody quick, it could be trouble for this defense.
Days in the ball game with Brissett and pistol. Boy, Jacoby loads and throws, and a bullet caught over there going out of bounds. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, the sophomore from St. Petersburg, Florida, with the Spria, one of the veteran corners in the ACC defender.
Well, not worried about a wet ball here. Throws a nice ball and a great job of going up and pulling it down by the sophomore. Valdez-Scantling had 4 catches, 55 yards, and a touchdown against the Blue Hose of Presbyterian.
So now 5 wide. A 3-by-2 look on 1st and 10. We're set to load and throw. BC coming with the pressure. And he throws it over the bench or into the bench area. Days, the intended receiver. Kovalik and Strezak were there for Don Brown's defense, and a marker down as well. And now that's been picked up.
Here comes the pressure again. Good job by Brissett to just get it out of there, throwing it away outside the tackle box. I think overheard no foul.
Right.
Maybe thinking he didn't make it outside that box, but he did. So a 2nd down and 10. There's Don Brown over there, dialing up the pressure.
Yep. BC brings 4. They try and slip it underneath. Valdez-Scantling got chopped down there. And the Eagles rallied to the ball very nicely. And Tymir Brown, a transfer from UConn, got involved. Number 5 there for Boston College. And Don Brown spoke of Tymir Brown a lot in our visit with him this week about in the nickel dime packages how big he would be with the dismissal of Bryce Jones last week.
Well, Cameron Moore.
Yep.
Isaac Yaida rather.
Got him. 3rd down. Brissett looks. Now dances. In trouble. Trying to make something happen. Jacoby Brissett to the far side. 1st down and more. To the Boston College 43-yard line. It might not be as smooth as Tyler Murphy, but it sure is as effective.
It is pretty. This is not supposed to happen. Look at everybody in the rush lanes. 1, 2, 3. Now, kids, when I was younger, we had these things called phone booths. And he's juking people out in the phone booth. I mean, there's not much space in there at all.
17-yard run by Brissett, and he turns right around and completes a pass to the far side, and that's Tony Creasing hauling it in for the Wolfpack, Jen.
Well, Wes, you remember you guys were talking about Don Brown for Boston College. Remember what he told us about Brissett? He said, we got to smash the guy. If we don't, he's going to bounce off and create problems.
Well, he did there, and he's done it twice today on big third down plays, and Austin got pulled down behind the line. Josh Keyes, the senior strong side linebacker for BC, making the play on Austin.
We saw it earlier on this drive from Tymere Brown. Here we see it from Josh Keyes. It really is. It's fun to watch these guys. So many big plays in college football happen out on that perimeter for guys to just heat it up and go make a play in space like that, like we've seen a couple times. It's tough to do, but BC's done a good job here.
Eagles bring 5 down the slot, and incomplete. The Wolfpack bench thought there should have been pass interference.
Well, the receiver was coming out of his break with his hands up because he couldn't get out of his break. So BC dodging a bullet here, getting away with it.
Stephon Lewis, the intended receiver.
And there you see had a hold of his jersey, and that was Manny Asprilla. That's where your seniors can get crafty, get away with things like that. So standing is BC after the great stand by the North Carolina State defense.
Bob the punt. And Austin gonna let it go to the end zone on the fly. So NC State runs 8 plays, James, and to a degree flips the field, but does not produce any points. 40-yard punt by Ballman, still a 10-point Eagle lead. 14, Boston College with a 10-point lead. And our Dairy Queen fan cam. Where else are we going today, Bates? Come on.
Well, I would have agreed, but during the break we saw him taking a selfie. So he's sending out a selfie right now. I don't think that any fan of the game should be a selfie taker.
Our good friends in Section 10. Jen was up there in the first half under much better conditions, I might add. And here's BC getting started with Austin on a reverse. The sweep again, I should say. And he picks up about 8 yards. There's our guy, Dave. The lead singer and driver of the Winnebago in Section 10, right?
Well, that's right. They can fit them all in the Winnebago now.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, how about Austin getting even more slippery with this weather? Nice pickup on first down on the jet sweep.
41 yards on 4 carries for Austin, but Hilliman can't cash in the second and short. Does Thomas Teal. Pick 69 there, makes a fine play for the Wolfpack. Redshirt senior, Bennettsville, South Carolina. BC, 50% on third down today. Came into the ballgame, James, 9th in the ACC. 84th nationally were the Eagles at under 39%. And in the first half, they just didn't have that many third downs.
No, they had a big stand down near the goal line. Can they do it again? This is just 3rd and 1. Got to stiffen up here, find a way, get this offense off the field.
Well, look at all the movement Ryan Day's got in this play. This is Hilliman trying to get to the outside. A stiff arm. First down and more for the rookie Hilliman. John Hilliman pushed out at the 43-yard line. Aaron Kramer out in front, helping to pave road for the freshman John Hilliman.
Wow, big Kramer. Watch Big 7. Boom. Just paving the way. You got to take it to him. You got to find a way to go earhole that big offensive lineman. Penetration kills this. It's, but you got to sacrifice your body, and you just got to sell out to find a way to get him before he gets those shoulders turned. A great job by the big man. These guards pulling and blocking. It's a thing of beauty for BC when it's clicking.
Murphy is going to keep it here to the near side on first down, and he'll pick up a couple. Justin Burris angled him out of bounds, but Boston College came into the ball game number 1 in the ACC, number 5 nationally, nearly 317 yards a game, and our Principal Financial Group edge to the game. The Eagles already with 223 yards of rushing here today. Murphy's got 12 carries, 100 yards, and a score.
And while it's not an offense of Steve Adazio's that's built to come from behind, like we saw, late, just a few minutes at the Colorado State game, if they can milk this clock here and go put some points on the board, that's where it gets scary.
All alone out in the flat, Hilleman. And he'll get up the field for about 7 yards, maybe 6 yards. Fernandez knocked him out of bounds. Jared Fernandez, the redshirt freshman, making a play on another rookie. And there's a good look at John Hilleman. Listed at 6 feet, 215 pounds. I tend to think he's a little Andre Williams light.
Well, give him a chance. That's why it was such a big get in the recruiting process last year. 2 touchdowns against USC, 2 against Maine. He'll take a breather as another big 3rd down coming up for his Eagles out on the field.
Yep. Murphy. Shovel pass. That's Outlow. 1st down. 207-pound freshman Marcus Outlow cashing in the 1st down. And here is 44. Shanksville, Pennsylvania's Andre Williams, who a year ago against the Pack at Alumni Stadium, James, set not just the BC record, but the ACC record for single game rushing. 339 yards, 42 carries, and a couple of scores, and made BC bowl eligible, all in one swing. Eagles back on the attack. Hilleman picking up about 5 or 6 on 1st down with Josh Jones making the play. Of course, Andre Williams has had touchdowns in consecutive games now for the New York Giants.
Yeah, well, you want to talk about Eagles in the NFL. You want to talk about Kuechly. Still making all the tackles like he did here at the collegiate level. How about the trust in these young guys from Steve Adazio? You saw the little shovel pass to Outlow, goes back to Hilleman, putting the ball in these youngsters' hands, and it's all on the line. And Tyler Murphy, of course, running the show, his graduate student.
And here's Murphy trying to keep, and whoa, what a good play. Rodman Noel, a kid from Everett, Massachusetts, outside of Boston, makes the play on Murphy. Super play by Noel.
Great job. They see the color coming across, and just a good job to feel it. And go make it. Go make it.
Loss of 3. 3rd down and 8 now for Boston College. 10-point lead for the Eagles.
Know where those chains are. Know where they're trying to get right now, and watch out for this quarterback draw. Nobody here in the middle of the field. Don't let them gash you.
Murphy to throw. Steps up in the pocket. And will be close to the 1st down. Had to get to the 32-yard line, and I believe he has made it. He got a little help from the umpire as he cut his way back across the field.
Well, and even if he didn't make it, I think Steve Adazio right now. Wow, look at him, that extra effort.
The umpire, Jeff Tomlin, got in the line of fire a little bit on the play. And they are going to bring the chains from over in front of the Boston College bench. And while they pull the chains, Jen, let's visit with you.
Well, Tyler Murphy, one of the things that he told me about when he was at Florida and he wasn't getting a chance to play, said, I was on the scout team, which meant I went against some really good defensive players for a while. And he said, my goal while I was there was to cause havoc, to make the defensive coordinator mad, to make the defense mad. He did that quite a bit, especially with what you just saw with his legs. And, I talked to his former offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach this week, Brent Pease, and he said, both Tyler and Jacoby did that. Even when the chips were down for them and they weren't getting to play, they kept on working, and that is what got them the opportunities they're both getting right now.
19th first down of the ball game for Boston College. And Hilleman that stood up and falls forward, gets a yard or 2 out of it. And Mike Rose has played well at defensive end for North Carolina State. Well, Ryan Day, James, seemingly has the full complement of their playbook going here today.
What he does in that bye week can kind of help you with that. We saw the highlights of Andre Williams when it was raining in a different way last year. for this BC team. And it was simple because it could be. All you needed to do was power game with Andre Williams. Now they've got to get a little bit trickier with some smoke and mirrors. But people they're disciplined. They're executing.
Littleman trying to get the corner turned and got knocked out of bounds over there by Jones. Josh Jones, a redshirt freshman from Walled Lake, Michigan.
Which, by the way, is the same place that the guy got in trouble for shining the laser at the Detroit Lions game this past weekend.
Yeah, I remember that.
I noticed the Walled Lake. That's where that kid was from. And then he bragged about it on Twitter. Hey, did you see the light? That was me. Oh, good job. That was smart. I hope Josh Jones is a lot smarter than that.
Way to give yourself up for the good of the crowd, right? Third down again for Boston College. And BC playing well in this particular category today. Outlaws back in the ball game just to the right of Murphy. Murphy to throw, and it's broken up. Hakeem Jones, the Wolfpack's leading tackler, got a hand in to disturb that one.
Wow, what a big stand. And a good job to secure it. Make sure you're going to make the play, come forward with that forward arm to knock it away. Now here it gets interesting with the young kicker, a fourth down and short. It looks like they're going for it.
Yep. I wondered where the ceiling on young Noel was. I think we found it. 28 was about all Adazio wanted to ask him to do, I guess, today. And the conditions certainly aren't perfect for kicking either.
Got to make it to the 22 here.
Murphy slowed up, now trying to bite, coming near side, and that'll be short. Dudek the catch, but he fell out of bounds at the 25-yard line. That would be 3 yards short of the first down. Veteran Dave Dudek. And the ball will go back over to North Carolina State.
You know, I think Dudek thought, because of the stake being where the line of scrimmage was, he thought that was the first down marker. He got up cheering, and that's where he sat his route down as well. What a stand after eating up the clock. BC on offense. NC State with the ball back in their hands.
Well, a stand by North Carolina State's defense, and now Eagles defensive coordinator Don Brown, his unit back on the point. Wolfpack fans, some of them turned to their seats. We had a 58-minute delay for Lightning in the area here. Boston College took over at the NC State 10 when we resumed play, and they only got a field goal out of it, but their lead is 10, and here's Brissett on first down, giving the ball to Shadrack Thornton, and Justin Simmons makes the play after about 5.5 yards for Shadrack Thornton. Now, NC State did a nice job. 13 plays in that possession by BC, no points.
This entire second half, after that hour delay, they had basically a goal line stand on the 10-yard line to force the field goal, and then they do it after so many plays get off the field. Great job defensively.
Brissett wants to take the shot. Underwood can't come up with it. He had gotten angled out of bounds, I believe, by Aspria. But Brian Underwood was online, and boy, there's a lot of contact early in the route, it looked like, in front of the NC State bench. And Dave Doran has taken 2 or 3 deep shots here in the ball game, but they've been calculated ones.
They have been, and you know what? And justified. They have worked, but they just missing is Brissett. There you see the time of possession. And look at the Wolfpack.
That's a huge number for what, late third quarter? 15 minutes already. 3rd and 5. Brissett flush to his right. Back across his body, and the throw is caught. Back here on the near side to Michael Ramos, the sophomore from Lovejoy, Georgia, comes up with the catch. His first catch of the year converts his 3rd down, Batesy.
Oh, what a big one. Here, wet ball, they get it, move the chains, and maybe most importantly right now, you mentioned that 13-play drive for the defense. Give them a breather, an extra sip of water. Still, time's ticking down, and you can't let BC get the ball back in their hands and eat up a lot of clock. You want to get some points out of this drive.
Brissett going to take another deep shot. Valdez-Scantling can't get there. And he tried to get to John Johnson. Marquez Valdez-Scantling, the sophomore, St. Petersburg, Florida, who had 3 catches against Florida State. Looked like he might have had Johnson beat there.
Hometown crowd's upset. They wanted a flag. Brissett throws a pretty deep ball, doesn't he? He's been just a yard or 2 long on a lot of these big hitters. Just missing. So second down and 10 now.
They tried passes at 20 yards or more 7 times. Brissett's hit 3 of them today. Second in the full 10. Thornton trying to get outside. And he'll pick up about 5 on the play. Dominic Williams tripped him up for Boston College. So another big third down coming up here for Dave Doran's club. In the final minute of this third quarter of play. State's 5 of 9 today on third down. Wolfpack came in 4th in the ACC, 24th nationally at nearly 48%. But how about their second half third down conversion? 57.5%. Brissett looking to throw. Under duress, flag thrown in, and Jacoby Brissett brought down behind the line. Stephen Daniels. And this looks to be in the neighborhood of a hold against the Wolfpack.
Third down, Donnie Brown, heating him up.
Holding. Offense, number 50. Penalties decline. 4th down.
There you go.
Tony Adams.
Big Stephen Daniels. That's all you can do. He's put the pressure on. Remember, he was the one that put the pressure untouched on Brissett earlier to force the interception. Of course, declined. Another big stand for this BC defense. With the exception of the first 2 drives of the game. But they've been getting after it.
Ballman hammers this punt at Austin, who backs up and plays it off the 1.5. Austin looking to get to the outside, and he makes it to the 35, stops on a dime, and drives it out to the 40. It's about a 38-yard return for Austin. It would be his best of the year.
Look at grit. That's what Steve Adazio says he likes about number 6. What else did he say? Sometimes they don't know what they don't know. You're supposed to put those heels right about the 10. If the ball's over your head, let it go out the back of the end zone. But you know what? You get it back up to the 40-yard line. We can deal with that too, youngster. Wow.
58-yard punt. And then the return officially 36 yards for Sherman Austin. Boston College will play from its 39 with 16 seconds to go in the third. And the give is to Hilleman. Coming here to the near side, and he'll be brought down at the 43-yard line, and that will likely be the final play of the third period. 3 quarters in the books in Raleigh, and Boston College goes to the 4th, protecting a 24-14 lead. Go to the 4th period. NC State trailing Boston College 24-14 here in Raleigh with James Bates, Jen Hilliard, our great crew, West Durham. Murphy going to throw on second down and misfires, looking for Shaquem Phillips. And that'll make it third down as we get a quick check of our Quicken Loans game summary. Time of possession. NC State helped themselves with 6 plays a moment ago, James, but it's still better than 12 minutes in favor of the Utes.
It was a 13-play all-for-nothing drive just a few moments ago for this offense. 19 first downs for Boston College. Right now, the Wolfpack D needs to make sure it doesn't turn into 20. Get off of the field, give your offense a chance to go down and chip away at this lead. Big down here.
Empty backfield. Murphy looking for help. Loops in into the Wolfpack bench. Brandon Pittman, the linebacker, was closing fast on Tyler Murphy. Pretty big stand after the Austin punt return there, James.
Big time play by Dave Huxtable's defense. Well, we've seen some defensive play here after the initial just boat race that we saw to open up this game. And it hasn't had anything to do with the weather. They've pinned their ears back, and they've really come on. And look at over at the sideline of BC. Coach Adazio knows if he moved the chains right there, he'll be all she wrote.
Here's the punt from Howell. And deep to make the return is Cherry. And Braylon Cherry got snowed under back inside the 10 at about the 8. Well, Boston College covered it well. The Eagles got downfield, and big-time play by John Johnson, who started today at corner, a 48-yard punt.
Well, and here too, and you know, ball at the 10, you can't argue with that. It's just really good coverage. Going back and taking a look at it, I thought that he was deep inside the 10, but that wasn't the case. Just outstanding coverage on special teams. We saw Sherman Alston go back to his goal line and receive one earlier, but that's the way you taught. And there's just great coverage. So now you got just even longer to go for Brissett in this offense.
It's Days coming out of the backfield. Brissett shoots it to Days. He'll pick up a couple of yards toward the 10. Cameron Moore, true freshman from District Heights, Maryland, right there near the Capitol Beltline. There, Washington makes the play.
And how about Cameron coming up and bringing the wood? These are guys that are forced to jump in there and contribute. Bryce Jones making a decision that was selfish, not told what it was, but he was kicked off the team, and that's a guy with 20 starts almost under his belt.
Here goes Days now for a first down. Reaches the 19, and that'll move the chains for North Carolina State. Kais and Simmons make the stop on Matt Days.
Wow, a little taste of your own medicine. Just those big guys just blowing off that line. Look at the big bodies, tying them up at the second level as well. Climbing up and getting the block on the linebacker, Strezak. Moving those chains, that's big when you're deep in your own territory, inside your own 10. They need some points now. They can't settle for coming off this field without any points here.
Hand the ball to Days. He'll look for the cutback again. Pick up about 6 on first down toward the 25. Kevin Kovalik and Brian Mahalik, the two defensive ends, make the stop. 20 yards on 5 carries now for Days, who's also done a pretty good job as one of Brissett's receivers today.
Well, remember, it was Days that had the big kickoff return to set NC State up in that second touchdown with the short drive. Get it over midfield.
Here's Brissett, play action. Across to the near side. That's caught. That's the backup tight end. That's Cole Cook. Dave Doran told us yesterday. Oh, it's Purvis, 47. Beg your pardon, Tyler Purvis, the fullback, 231-pound redshirt senior. Doran told us about all 3 tight ends and the fullback Purvis. 21-yard play here.
Well, look at this pretty ball thrown in between this zone. That's one thing. You go back and watch that Florida State game. To open up that game, Brissett was just dropping it in there. Only where his receivers could catch the ball, and Purvis, highest GPA on the team, graduate student, with a big catch to take it up near midfield.
Now Jacoby Brissett wants to burn a timeout. Play clock had gotten down under 5.
That is their first charge of this half.
So 2.5 minutes gone here in this 4th period of play. NC State trails by 10. The ball near midfield for first down when we come back. One of the really nice displays they've got here at North Carolina State. There's a ball for the late Bo Ryan, who did a marvelous job here in the late 70s after Lou Holtz left to go coach the New York Jets. His tenure at NC State was over. We lost Bo, then became the head coach at LSU, and of course was tragically killed in a plane crash. They ever coached the Fighting Tigers, and Dave Doran was named the 34th head coach in Wolfpack history in December of 2012. His pack trying to rally from 10 down, and Days on first down is able to get a yard. So 2nd and 9 coming up for the pack, Jen.
Yeah, Wes, the Pack going to have to try to rally without Bo Hines, talented freshman receiver, one who Dave Doran pointed out to us was a real hard worker. But he is on the sideline in warm-ups and with a boot on his right foot. No details of how that happened to him, but that is his status for right now.
Ooh, 2 catches, 35 yards for Hines. Came in as the #1 receiver for North Carolina State. 2 dozen grabs and a touchdown. 10th in the ACC in receiving yardage. Now Brissett to throw, under duress and in trouble, tries to get rid of it, and that's a live ball into the backfield. That's Jalen Samuels, the big freshman. Things are getting haywire for the Wolfpack, and Samuels needs a block or 2. Brissett tried to help him, and Samuels will get back to the 38-yard line. of NC State and what could have been a disastrous turn.
Trying to press it, knowing that you need something out of this. Gosh, you're right. It could have been a great big disaster. How about Samuels? Some backyard ball, just getting it up there, getting what he can, and giving your team a chance rather than third down and forever. You're now third down and 18, so livable. But look at you, getting close to 10 minutes left in this football game.
So now, third and very long. Brissett up in the pocket, pressure there, and underthrows Valdez-Scantling. And NC State will have to punt. 10:48 to play now in a two-possession situation for the Wolfpack, trying to find this fifth win. They've lost 2 straight. And, of course, both of them conference games. The heartbreaker here against Florida State, and then last Saturday, shut out 41-0 at Clemson.
You know, it's an offense that had gone 3 straight games, 40 or more points scored, including against the #1 team in the nation, Florida State. And then they were shut out by Clemson. Looked like they overcame those woes last beginning of the game, but have stalled since then.
Sherman Austin a fair catch of the punt from Will Bauman. So, Boston College will start offense 24 for Steve Addazio after this. Don't mind the 58-minute delay that these clubs had to endure. Back and ready to go here at Carter-Finley Stadium in Raleigh. 10-point lead for Boston College in the football. For the Eagles off their 24, and here's John Hilleman picking up about 8 on first down. Fernandez, the redshirt freshman at linebacker, makes it. Boy, this guy runs hard, James.
He certainly does. Behind an offensive line that really is getting better and better. Now they've got big Bobby Vargaro back. And it's really demoralizing when you got a first down. Game's getting ready to be on the line here. You got to figure out a way to get the ball back. And 8 yards on first down.
Yep. And now first down play as Hilleman crashes over the top on 2nd and 3. Wright and Jones from the Wolfpack secondary next to play, but up at the 39, that'll be enough. That'll be enough for the first down here.
Watch these big bodies. There's Vargaro pulling around. Look at that. I don't know if I've ever seen that. Carrying him backward with his feet in the air. That's going to make for a good still photo. But you want to hang it on the wall and say, yeah, we came back and beat them there. You want to say, yeah, we ended up losing that. That's fucking way. You know what I mean? You see the pictures in the
It's a better story with a win. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And Hilleman runs into a stack of red shirts there, maybe a yard. Fernandez, the first guy. Work under 10 minutes. A reminder to dial up ACC All Access. Reigning freshman of the year in volleyball at Virginia's Jasmine Burton will be profiled, plus a preview of the top 10 game next Saturday in Tallahassee with Florida State and Notre Dame. Next week on ACC All Access. Jen Hildreth, your hostess for the program. Second in the full 10. And Austin around the end again. What a game changer Sherman Austin's been. That'll be enough for the first down. It's a 12-yard run to the Wolfpack 49. And Boston College, another first down.
How about those blockers on the perimeter? Watch them get up on number 8, Dravius Wright. They wall them off. And presence of mind by Bordner to take it up to the next level. We know we've got this phase cleared. Let's keep on going. Just sealing it off and keeping that offense out on the field. Another fresh set of downs, chewing away at the clock.
Here goes Hillman again. They got trapped behind the line that time. Fernandez. He had some help. Buckley was also there. NC State's 4-2-5. Dave Huxtable yesterday was talking to us pretty directly about, can we put guys in a position so they just don't get up on us and maul us, is the word. You know, maul us down the field with the run game. And at times today, BC's been able to do that.
Well, and to make matters worse, it's not just the 4-2-5. It's some injuries to some linebackers early in the season that hurt some personnel-wise.
Back inside, a little shovel to Borden there. And now we got a helmet come off. The helmet of Seth Betancourt popped off, and a marker with it.
and it looks like that's where the flag's coming from. If that is the case, that's why the helmet came off. He is not forced to leave the football game. If that's the penalty is what caused the headgear to come off, and I think that is the case right here. And what a blow it would be for the Wolfpack when they've got him forced to a 3rd and long.
Personal foul. Hands to the face, ripping the helmet off. Number 39 on North Carolina State. By rule, the player that lost his helmet will not have to leave the game for one play. 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
You know what, Wes, I think his hand was caught in his face, and he was falling, just trying to kind of help himself. Pittman has played really well. I've enjoyed watching 39 play, but right there, that's costly, whether it was on purpose or not. That's tough.
And stoppage of play here. Riley Johnson is our referee today. The center judge, James Cole, visiting.
The penalty was marked off correctly. Please reset the play clock to 25 seconds.
And Dave Doran and Steve Adazio both seeking their first ACC win.
Watch the end of it. Here's 39. See his, I think his hand, his right hand was caught, and he was trying to protect himself from breaking his hand. Nothing he could do. Oh, that's unfortunate.
And Hillman, first down carry, a yard toward the 31. Teal and Fernandez for NC State.
Still, plenty of time, especially the way we've seen, although not connecting, just being a spot up. Brissett can throw that deep ball so you can go with the quick strike, but you just got to find a way to make it stop.
And here's the thing that has to concern Dave Doran is the aspect of Boston College has the ability, like they had a year ago with Andre Williams, but now in a different way. They showed it against Southern Cal. They can close games by running the ball. And here's Willis. Haven't seen much of Miles Willis in the second half, and he picks up about 7 yards. Josh Jones will make it 3rd and short. James, a year ago, Chase Reddick would just turn and hand it to 44, and he could turn the lights out for you. Remember against Southern Cal, they got into the 4th quarter. They managed the game with Murphy carrying the ball, Willis carrying the ball, Hillman carrying the ball, Rouse, I mean, name
Alston.
Austin.
The jet sweep to Alston.
This team plays pretty good from in front now. But as we saw a couple weeks ago, when they're behind late, it could be a task. But they got a 10-point lead and a burning clock right now. 3rd and short. Hillman. And he will have the first down to the 22. And he took off right behind the right side of that line. John Baker, who's in the ball game, a true freshman from Millis Mass, pulled around. Get a look at big 77 there, leading the way. Look at him, he's got the clean jersey.
But look at all the big bodies. Just as a unit, you know, they lost a couple big ones last year. Matt Patchen, Ian White from last year's offensive line, couple big tackles. This unit's starting to gel. And John Hillman, you need 2 yards right there in that situation. He can power through for 2 yards. He can also beat you to the edge, as we've seen tonight.
Eagles got 279 yards of rushing and a marker down as the play starts there.
Before the snap, false start, right guard. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
And there's Adazio. Not happy, and look at the line here now. Badaro and Golick, they're the graybeards.
Yeah, and they're glad to have this guy back. They've really missed him. They already lost Harris Williams to an injury of ankle against UMass. Now they're getting him back, and Adazio's so upset because he knows they cannot stop us if we stay on schedule. And it's been a clean football game for the most part. But the 5 yards now puts you in a bad situation.
Here's Murphy trying to make a play, and he's got room. 10, 5, he'll score. 27-yard run for Tyler Murphy and a touchdown.
Just a little bit more space, says Tyler Murphy. I hope he's okay. Looks like he's He's hurting coming out of there. So here's your inside. This is one thing that Clemson had a ton of success with. Just a lead play, if you will. Lead blocker for that quarterback right up the gut. They spread him out. And there's nobody there for NC State, a defense that has just fought and fought, but unable to make that big stop when it counted the most and get off of the football field. And how impressive has this offensive line and these backs been for BC in the second half to just grind it out.
There's Big Vidaro, flag on the extra point.
False start, light guard, 5-yard penalty, added to the try.
So it is a 10-play, 75-yard drive, by the way, in 5:42. And the second touchdown run of the day for Tyler Murphy, covering 26 yards, which gives him 8 on the year. He was tied for third in rushing scores coming in to the ball game. He's got 132 yards on 15 carries. And they juggle the snap, and Murphy just tried to shovel it away before he got hit. The point try fails for Boston College, but it leaves it a 16-point game. 5 minutes to go. Adazio not happy with the extra point try, but he is happy with his quarterback's touchdown run.
Tyler Murphy is a guy that's a really good athlete. He can beat you with his feet. He can beat you with his arm. He's a true dual threat, and hopefully we can create more explosives.
Boy, I'd say he's a true dual threat. Steve Adazio, even with the 16-point lead, not particularly happy with the point after try failing a moment ago. They got some kicking issues at Chestnut Hill, and he's trying to get that polished up, James, before they get too deep into the league schedule. Here is Howell ripping one along the ground. Going to be fielded by Braylon Cherry. Get across the 25, and Cherry breaks out. 35, 40, and flipped over at the 46-yard line. Well, Iadum coming up, Iadum out of the secondary, but here's our Z-Max performance play.
Well, to what should have been put a nail in the coffin, the touchdown run by the quarterback, Tyler Murphy. But since the extra point was no good, 2 scores and 2 two-point plays after can tie it up. Crazier things have happened, but it hasn't been easy for NC State offensively since they scored on the first 2 possessions.
They set the long throw over the top of the tight end, Greenwich. And it'll be second down and 10. Frustrating afternoon into evening for Dave Doran and his quarterback. Jacoby Brissett, 14 of 27, 14 of 28, now 174. A touchdown and the interception, just his second of the year.
It's a defense that, even though with this touchdown they just gave up, a defense that you've got to take some positive from the way they fought in the second half.
And Brissett fumbles the ball, and it's scooped up. Daniels. Stephen Daniels, the fumble recovery after Josh Keyes racked up Brissett to force the fumble.
That'll turn the frown upside down on Steve Adazio's face. It's been a defense. Boy, they have gotten after it, blitzing Jacoby Brissett, who is so good buying some time, but the way that they've brought in and come at those vice angles, Josh Keyes, who had the big sack against USC, 5.5 tackles for loss against the number 9 team then in the nation. The big upset win up on Chestnut Hill, delivers again. The interception by Mahalik earlier after halftime. Big plays defensively for BC.
Now Hillman. And he'll fight back for 3 yards. It'll be second down and 7. And John Hillman might be trying to sniff out State's last opportunity. Jim.
Well, it's the last opportunity that, for the moment, is going to continue to have Tyler Murphy out there at quarterback. He held his helmet in his hand. Maybe he was a little uncertain there on the sideline when his defense was out there. Darius Wade, the freshman backup, was warming up, but a couple of coaches came over, as well as the trainer, Steve Bushy, to talk to Murphy. And every time they came away, I just saw Murphy nodding his head. Guess he's okay, or at least he's good enough to try to finish this game out.
Yep, Darius Wade's appeared in a couple of ball games this year. Last one was a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago against Maine. And there is Hilleman. Boy, he really tucking the football away as he drives toward another first down. Jermaine Pratt and Travius Wright making tackles for the Wolfpack. Hilleman working toward another 100-yard game as well, James. Murphy's already over 100 yards. He's got 132 on 15 carries, and he's got another 100 yards of passing. Pretty good afternoon, huh?
The 49-yarder was pretty way back in the first half. Big touchdown run. And I'm just glad to see him back out there because the way he celebrated in that last touchdown, and I thought there for a second that's why Adazio was so upset. Maybe he got...
Whoa! Look out! T.Y. McGill. And a timeout taken by the Wolfpack. John Hilleman be checking for nickels and dimes.
How does he get? Look at the big man. Huh? You kidding me? Almost 300 pounds? Huh? Just flipping the switch and getting off of there. That's not fair. That's somebody check it. Wow.
Here, James.
You want to get as far away from it as possible. You might feel that. You get too close.
Oh, man. T.Y. McGill unlocks John Hilleman, and Alex Howell punts that in the end zone for Boston College. 2:55 to play, and NC State trailing 30-14 now. And we check in on our Bass Pro Shot catch of the game. And the tight end, David Greenwich, finds the end zone for the first time this year.
Greenwich, a sophomore, good-looking tight end. That's his 14th catch on the season. Still, find a way to a big hitter here.
Set up in the pocket and got around Daniels for about 5 yards. Johnson helping out. Boy, I believe that John Johnson's tape would be pretty favorable in Don Brown's defensive meeting room next week, getting his start today for Bryce Jones, who was dismissed at the front of the week. Brissett loads and off the hands of Austin.
There he is again, Wes. John Johnson. We saw Cameron Moore come up. You know, that entire secondary, the perimeter of this defense has really impressed me. This has been an outstanding performance for Don Brown's crew. Holding a team so far, if it stands right now, to 14 points, a team that scored 41 points against the #1 team in the nation, their defense, the Florida State Seminoles, just a couple weeks ago. Very productive off week for these BC Eagles defensively.
Jacoby Brissett flushed and throws to the far side, batted away. Valdez-Scantling couldn't hang on. And so it'll fall to 4th and 5 for NC State. And Jacoby Brissett's numbers, 14-29, 174, a touchdown and a pick, and had a fumble. He came into the game 3rd in the ACC in efficiency. And he was 5th in yards per game at 233.2. And Valdez-Scantling shaken up over on the far side as we get to 4th down. But James, Boston College they cut down the passing lanes on him today, quite frankly. And Don Brown's defense deserves a lot of credit here.
They've covered well. They've played physical against the run. They've really dialed up the blitzes at the right times, put the pressure on him. And we even saw Jacoby a couple times early avoid in situations where he absolutely had no chance to stay upright and find a way. He's fun to watch, but there's only time after time after time. There's only so much you can do. A little bit of help, and you know, and to continue to grow and get into a groove with this football team.
Yep.
You know, he's going to get better as this year goes on, but next year, as they get some birthdays underneath him, so to speak, it can really be scary. There's a sophomore, that good-looking young guy that'll be back. And, you know, you look too, Wes, 651 days between snaps for Brissett in transferring and sitting out a year for, you know, game-type situation. For him just to play like he has so far this year has been impressive.
Remember, Jen told us about the injury to Bo Hines earlier in this half. If Valdez-Scantling is also hurt, next Saturday's game at Louisville, well, you're talking about cutting down on your weapons. We'll have to get some folks ready to go before our 3:30 start. Part of our doubleheader next week. Brissett will be sacked for a 4th time. And back inside the 10 at the 7. Connor Wojak, big 90, led the charge.
Wojak, good apple.
Yeah.
Well, they're pumped, and they should be. There was a party in the backfield right there for that defensive line. Everybody meet me at the quarterback.
Now with 2:13 to go, Brissett sacked for a 4th time, and BC's got one right in front of the goal line.
Kavalik with the pressure back there as well. Look at it. Wow. You know, when you rush like that, you don't need to bring all these exotic blitzes guys from all over the place.
This is the 3rd time in the half that Boston College has started in North Carolina State territory. The 10, earlier the 38, and now the 7. Hilleman's the running back. And he gets the call for a yard or 2. B.J. Hill, a true freshman for State. There to make the stop. Well, Adazio's team going to pick up their 2nd road win of the year. They beat UMass at Foxborough. It'll be his 2nd road win in the league in his 2 years at Chestnut Hill. After splitting their last 4 games, they look like they're going to get their 1st league win and their 4th overall.
And look at him coaching to the very end. Upset, you know, personnel. He didn't have enough guys in there. They're going to get this snap off, but things will come back to bite you in a tight game later this year.
90 seconds left, and Hillman hits a stack of red shirts. You know, James, we had one of the great lines in any coaching visit earlier this week when you were talking to Coach Adazio about, you know, some cannolis. And Jen, I think the line was, why would I want you to bring me a cannoli, Bates? You'd bring me a taco shell filled with toothpaste.
He's hating on that food that we have in Gainesville, Florida, isn't he? Making fun of the barbecue. Only so much barbecue you can eat.
You guys, I said, though, right? If he's going to talk so much about the Boston cannolis, as well he should. Why didn't he bring us one?
Yeah, a trip to Mike's wouldn't have hurt him.
He said it would spoil, and then, you know, a good excuse. He said...
He told Bates, don't bring me a taco shell filled with toothpaste. It was, and I'll tell you, it's locked in 24/7, isn't it?
Well, when we were up there, he was even coaching us up on where to go eat in Boston. Yeah. And then you go, don't eat dessert there. Go down the street and get a cannoli. And I like those that you eat in Gainesville. He's a treat.
And he and Dave Doran have taken on these tasks. And last year, he had a little more to work with in terms of veteran presence. Got a great season out of Andre Williams and got Boston College into a bowl game. Dave Doran is still building this Wolfpack team, and this is a disappointing loss for the guys in Raleigh tonight. BC